Good evening, and welcome to Saturday Night Mysteries, a chance for you, the viewer, to play detective and try to solve the crime before the answer's given later in the show. Tonight's mystery, the case of the Deceiving D.Js.
It seemed like it was going to be a slow day at the office. Then I got a call from a big-shot lawyer, William Ward. He wanted me to be at a last will and testament hearing to settle the estate of Yukon John Rinaldi, the very wealthy Alaskan adventurer who froze to death when an avalanche covered his cabin. The paper said there was no heir to his fortune. Well, that's me. I'm Sam Marlowe. Inside the plush conference room of Attorney Ward was a young couple, David and Lucille Rinaldi. They claimed Yukon John was their long-lost uncle.
Mr. Ward, 2 months ago, we took a trip to northern Alaska to see if we could find any traces of how poor Uncle Yukon died.
And we met an Eskimo who was a part of the search party, and he said these papers were found next to Uncle Yukon's body.
The letter tells of the day he reached his cabin in the northern mountains. A bad winter storm was coming. Avalanches were possible.
He knew it was a bad decision, and the very next day, the storm hit. And an avalanche covered his cabin, smashing in part of the roof, trapping Uncle Yukon inside.
The temperature had been well below zero for weeks, and Uncle Yukon was out of food, out of firewood. He was burning the furniture. It was at this time that he realized the end was near, and he decided to write these papers.
He found 2 sheets of paper and a fountain pen that he always kept in the cabin and began to write down the accounts of his death and then his last will and testament. And then he froze to death.
And as you can see here, he clearly names us heirs to his estate.
An estate worth $16 million. David? Lucille? Congratulations.
Not so fast, Mr. Ward. This will is about as phony as these two are. Dave and Lucille Rinaldi, indeed. Meet Dave and Lucy, daytime DJs on WGAR 99.5 FM, the home of all your country favorites.
All right, smart guy, so you knew who we were. So what?
But how did he know the will was phony?
Well, given the information you have, how did Sam Marlowe know the will was a phony one? The answer, later in the program.
The home of all your country favorites.
All right, smart guy, so you knew who we were. So what?
But how did he know the will was phony?
When you two read the newspaper accounts of Yukon John Rinaldi's body being found and how he had died of hypothermia, you forged the last will and testament, naming yourselves as the heirs to his fortune. But you made one little mistake. You said Yukon John wrote that the temperature was well below freezing for weeks and that an avalanche had caved in the roof of his cabin. So therefore, the temperature inside the cabin was well below freezing also.
Well, that's how he died. He froze to death. Hypothermia.
Yeah, well, you know what else would have been frozen? The ink in his fountain pen. There's no way that he could have written these papers. Nice try, Dave and Lucy. But I think you two better stick to playing records down at WGAR 99.5 FM, the home of all your country favorites. And do me a favor, will you, doll? See if you can dig up Willie Nelson's version of As Time Goes By for me.